Right, guys, got another Warno Devblog. It's a Warno Devblog review of the 71 YA pack division. It is pretty funny, like every time I get one or two comments saying, why aren't you showing it in the armory? Or I thought it was an armory showcase. The words Devblog showcase are in the title. As we've established, most of us can't read. So, yeah, basically, we'll go through it, but it's not like every single unit. If you want every single unit, then you want to check out the Nemesis 6.3 devblog review, which goes on for an hour, and it covers every single unit. Hippie in Zil 157, and it goes on quite some time. So yeah, I'll just read out what is in front of me, right? And you can skip to the part you want, right, if you want to see the T55 APC or whatever. So, hello commanders, as promised in last week's devblog, Nemesis 8 Schools Out is being fast-tracked for a launch in the not-too-distant future this summer. That means it's high time we took another look at Nemesis 8 Schools Out's two divisions, checking out their latest models and see if and what has changed since the original proposal late last year. First up is the Warsaw Pact 71Y Reserve Tank Division. So I guess Zapaznaya means reservist, because Tankovaya, and Divizia, I could probably guess those. Zarojina. Right, let's go refresh some memories. Nemesis 8 Schools Out was the most recent community-voted Nemesis to go into Eugen production as part of the Nemesis Second Chance vote. Yeah, so basically, people just voted for the West German one, and this was what came with it. Honestly, it's not as interesting as 34 would have been, but that was with BRSC and BRS. Sorry, ran out of hard drive space. I go through a lot of hard drive space because I record everything in 4K, and that's possible thanks to the generous channel joiners. Generously joiner in the channel. They get the videos early. They get their names on screen. They get the videos early. They also get a Steam key for my game Hearse Hero, which is on Steam, right? Wow, we're on Steam right now. Guys, check out Hearse Hero. There's a free demo. If you want to help me out for free, you can like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff, and you can wishlist my game on Steam, even if you have no desire to buy it. Because yeah, I've got a higher review score than Broken Arrow, guys. Because it works like YouTube, that, if you like, comment, subscribe, it recommends the videos to more people. It does the same thing on Steam with wish lists, so would appreciate it. Anyway, yeah, so this basically just got in because of the West German 42 one, which honestly isn't as interesting as you might think. But there it is. So that's a T62, and yeah, so this is saying you can find all the juicy details in the dev blog below. This dev blog is this video. Because look, it's 1611600. Oh no, hang on, that's the yeah, it would be that 10067. Yeah, it's that long string at the end there. If you're watching on mobile, you got no idea what I'm talking about. So yeah, if you want to see that, go for that. It'll be linked in the description, which you don't read. One of the key distinguishing features of Nemesis 8 is the abundance of instructor-type units. So the way they sold this one to us was like, oh, if this doesn't win, basically they did 3 Nemesis options. And they're like, oh, if this doesn't win, ooh, they didn't quite say you'll not get an instructor, but they made it clear that this was the one with the new mechanic. And we've fallen for that before when they said drones, and then we got 152 easy because of drones, which is how BRSC lost in the first place. So yeah, this actually lost because we didn't fall for it that time, and then we got loads of instructors. But then there was a second round of voting, which is why it came back. These are units composed of seasoned advisors and teachers specialised in the training of recruits and other forces. Instructors grant nearby units of the same type a +1 veterancy level and remove any negative modifiers associated with the reservist trait. I think they removed militia as well. So they're like CVs in that sense, but they're more available and they only affect the specific unit type. So infantry only affects infantry, and that means that it doesn't affect infantry recon. And there are a few of them already in the game. So the main one everybody knows is Green Berets on on TKS because you bring them with the Heimat Jaeger, and they're very, very useful, and they've got that sort of penis icon. You know what the French are like. Anyway, back to the Warsaw Pact and the 71 Reservist Tank Division. There's a mobilization division based far from the front lines in Omsk, Russia. This Soviet reservist formation would have been called up for duty only if the war dragged on for weeks or months. Well, wars do tend to do that. Quick 2-week adventure. Gonna get the Straits of Hormuz. Oh, I'm gonna get Kiev. So yeah, I mean they're literally in the middle. So yeah, interesting. I'm sure it's a nice place. You know, because of global warming and stuff, Russia is it's going to become a very inhabitable country. Same with Canada. A lot of these places, you know how it looks green? It's not actually green. It's just like covered in snow most of the year because of global warming. It's all this here, right? They're not going to be able to live there anymore. So they're going to move to Russia. Anyway, however, if full combat readiness was to be achieved, quite a few personnel from the nearby Omsk Higher Tank Engineering School and Omsk Higher Combined Arms Command School were to be employed to lead the thousands of conscripts and reservists assigned to this division. So yeah, this one actually wasn't so bad. Thinking back, it wasn't so bad. In brief, the instructor-heavy battle group will feature several new units. These include, amongst others, the BR-50 PUM APC, BTF, okay, whatever, instructory infantry squads with the instructor trait, as well as instructor T-64As, instructor T-72As, instructor T-72B OBR-89s. The BTR-55 is the T-55 APC. And a variety of new reservist units, which the instructors will buff up. So it'll be a high micro division. You need good micro to keep the instructors with it. I mean, you can just click the instructor and just right-click the unit and it'll follow it around. Generally, you do want some spacing so they don't both die to the same bomber. And there's also a BTS K-pop self-propelled anti-aircraft gun. A ZIL 135M S60 anti-aircraft gun. This is like a T-55 anti-aircraft gun. And Su-24 strike aircraft in a variety of loadouts. They always say older, but like, does it mean older than the ones we already have? Because these all have 30% ECM, which is kind of crazy. These bombers really are overperforming at the moment, specifically these three, because they drop from so far away. They drop like the F-104 drops, but the F-104 gets one shot by a Eyehawk or whatever, whereas this it gets two shot and it's got a lot of ECM, so it's just very hard to deal with. Payload's bigger as well. It is what it is. So now we get to the Logi tab. What does this say? Oh yeah, I'm working on a fourth Polish guide, but a lot of these guides that I work on never come out, so don't keep asking me about it. Since we've modelled the ZIL chassis for the S60 carrier, so for starters, right, the S60 is this 57mm. It did get buffed because all the Bofors got buffed and this got buffed as well, so it's actually not so bad now. And it's going to be on a ZIL 135M, which I'm pretty sure is off Steel Division 2, but it's basically a Soviet flatbed truck. So it's going to be that, but the 5 version, and it's flat. So they're going to have a new logistics car, which will replace the Kraz 225B in the heavy supply role. Oh, that's annoying. There is one called Kraz 255 May. It's over. They made a single spelling mistake. Anyway, so this carries 2,000 supply, so you only get 3 in a card. And it says it'll take over in the same role, so it's probably the same. There are ones that carry 3,000 supply, so you only get 2 in a card. Which is not this one. Infantry. To give the division a bit more punch in the infantry department, we've created a new Reservist BMP squad, coming in the new Reservist BMP 1, and with a first generation Malyuka ATGM and sporting the Reservist trait. Whoa. That's going to be very strong, actually. So the way IFVs work in this game, especially ones like the BMP ones, is you bring them with the tanks, and the Malyukas Or does it mean it's not even going to be an M? It's just going to be a Malyuka, so it'll be like 15 pen. But the point is, it's not about the pen. It's not because it doesn't hit anyway. The point is the suppression, and it still suppresses even if it misses. So when you're fighting with your tanks, you have the BMP ones behind, because of the range that just naturally seems to happen, and the tanks up front. And the BMP ones, they do tank hits, right? And they also suppress the enemy tanks, so your tanks win the tank fights. So that's the role of IFVs now. I mean, obviously they also do other stuff, but generally the BMP one is not very good against infantry. Now, the big deal here is that if it's reservist, it's going to be 25 points. And if it's the Malyuka's worse, they might make it 20, but frankly, I doubt that. I doubt that. I think it'll be 25. So, that means you can buy loads more. Reservisti BMP. So Reservisti's 35. And if it's Reservisti BMP with 7 dudes, it's probably going to be 30. So that's a 55-point IFV infantry combination, which is the cheapest in the game. Even something like Gun Group, which is overpriced. As are these guys. 20 points for that is pointless, but these should probably be 25. But anyway, Gun Group come in the Warrior, so it's 30 plus 50, so it's 80. Or you can bring in this one, which I guess will be 70, but that's going to be a 55-point ATGM infantry combo, so that's actually very powerful. Recon, we've also added a new unit and model to the division's recon forces in the form of the R33OP Pyramida Jammer vehicle. These are also crap, man, but basically, what's it called, like Antac or something? So this is a recon jammer, right? So it's probably going to be like this. So the idea is, it's got the jamming trait, which means that enemy arty doesn't get corrected shot, and it reduces enemy optics if they... it tends to just reduce enemy optics. And it's got very good optics, and it's cheap. Now, in 10v10s or something where you're worried about like massed artillery on you, I suppose it can be useful, but generally it's a waste of a slot. And it's because it's got bad stealth. So because it's got flipping aerial sticking out of it, you bring it, but if you can see them, they can almost certainly see you because the stealth is bad, right? It's the same as a tank. So whenever I come up against somebody using all of these, it's just like pop, 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 kill them all. And the availability isn't actually that high. This, by the way, is the division that originally beat out 71 and the German one, 42. So, yeah, between these two, I prefer this one because of the stealth. I don't bring either, but if I was forced to. AA. Although the 71 YA Reservist Tank Division also already featured a quite substantial number of AA guns in the original proposal, look, just read this vid, bros. It's got 2.5k views. You can just go 20 and you can see back when I was red. Right, back when I was red. But yeah, look at all that AA there. Because this is just telling what's changed. So it lacks a proper range deterrent, proper long-range deterrent, because you got Strelas, S60s, S60s. Maybe there's something else down here, but it's kind of looking like there isn't. Yeah. But the idea is it's supposed to rely on its fighters because it's got Soviet Top Gun next to it or something. Anyway, they've added the S125 Never-Towed SAM. Whoa, so this thing, but it's going to be the one with 2 missiles, not the one with 4 missiles. Which is the one off Wargame Red Dragon that the Koreans get. But basically, this is like just like a super Eyehawk in this. Because it's got 4 missiles. Anything I can do, you can do better. Sorry, anything you can do, I can do better, right? That's the Soviet approach to this game. It's better because it's got 4 missiles. And you tend to shoot 2 at a plane. And so that's 2 volleys instead of 1 volley, and then the second one is inconsequential. It works a lot better than the Cubs because it's got more accuracy. So it is very good. But if it's only got 2, it's only 1 volley. And yeah, so it's just these, they call them the 4 fingers of death. Me. Anyway. And then you've got some pictures of definitely not the Never. All right. That is that truck from from the start that they were talking about. The one that they said in the Logi tab. The ZIL 13M S60 carrier is probably that. And lastly, next to the AT, Seed, and HE loadouts we had planned for the SU-24, we are considering adding another heavy rocket loadout with a whopping 8 S250 420mm rocket. So these were added in Don 100 as well. Yeah, I guess if it's there, it makes sense, right? So which is a Rocket 3. So these are really good, and they actually kill tanks. You need to get like all 8 of them off on a heavy tank to kill it. But it does kill it. And because it's a 2 salvo length, as long as you're paying attention, you can fire 2, next target fire 2, next target fire 2. And you can kill like 4 infantry squads, because that's 8.4 damage. So it is very nice. I was talking to somebody who thinks it's overpriced because the AT one is, you know, better against tanks, and it's cheaper, and it's got the side missile. But I mean, against, it can also kill tanks. It's obviously not as good at it as the AT one, but I think it's fairly appropriately priced. So it's 5 more points because the missiles have such a huge amount of suppression. Okay. Yeah, and then there's Soviet Top Gun. So then they talk about Tropic Storm, and I've got videos for all the Tropic Storm divisions, which is like South America in Warno, which is pretty cool. And then there's a Soviet Top Gun plane. So yeah, I do recommend checking out, because it was 7 months ago, so you've obviously forgotten. And I'm off to go watch some Dota. But you shouldn't watch Dota, you should watch more of my videos.